What's going on, guys? Welcome back to the channel. Now today I have a comparison video between the Nike Phantom GX2 and the Adidas Predator 24 Elite. Now a good amount of people have already asked me in the comments in my other videos which one I would go for, like which one I would wear, the GX2 or the Predator. And I'll let you guys know at the end of the video which one I would pick. But today in this video, I'm going to do my best to compare these two boots, talk about the differences as well as the similarities in terms of the fit, the feel, the sole plate, and everything you would possibly want to know about these boots to help you decide which one to get, just because these are probably one of the two more popular models in my opinion right now. So I'm going to do my best to share the differences and similarities. So let's get right into it. So let's first talk about the upper. Now the upper on the GX2 is still a grip knit upper. It is really soft. It is on the thinner side this time around just because it is a one piece upper. So it does have, it's not super thin because you still get that knitted material obviously, and these ridges kind of add a little bit more thickness to it. But compared to the GX1, it is a little bit thinner in my opinion. Now the upper is really pliable, really soft right out of the box. Like in terms of the break-in period, these are basically zero in terms of the break-in period. They've broken really well and pretty quickly. Like I just wore these, started juggling, and they felt good to go. Like I didn't have any issues with these. So that's kind of a huge plus for me, just having a quick break-in period, and these are really soft straight out of the box. Now obviously the main highlight of the upper is the grip knit upper, which does feel really sticky in hand as well on the ball, and you really feel it. Like if you're not used to like a sticky upper or something that's really grippy, you might trip over the ball. Like for me, for the GX1, I did trip over the ball a little bit in the beginning just because I wasn't used to it. The GX2, I didn't have any issues with that just because I was already used to it with the GX1. So, I just really like that sensation of having grip all over the boot, like all over the upper. And these ridges just add a little bit more texture. And I just feel like, when you're shooting or like when curling the ball, I just felt like it spun a little bit more compared to the GX1. Now the upper on the Adidas Predator is a Hybrid Touch 2.0, and so it is soft and it is pliable. I would say that the GX2 is a bit softer just because it is a bit thinner. The Predator does have a thinner upper compared to the accuracy, but there is still like some natural paddiness to this Hybrid Touch upper, so it's not as thin as this boot right here. I would say that this one is a little bit thicker, not by a lot, but it does have more of a slightly padded feel. Now the upper itself does have a matte finish, and so it's not overly slick, but obviously it's not going to grip the ball a lot. Having the matte finish doesn't make it super slick, so that I guess that's a good thing. And here we have the rubber elements, which are positioned only in this like striking area of the foot. And so when you're shooting the ball and giving those passes with like the top of your foot, like a ping pass, you really do feel these rubber elements a lot. Like they do add a good amount of grip, and they do kind of spin the ball a bit more when you're trying to obviously curl it. Like you do notice a more spin, at least I did. And this time around, these fins kind of are soft, and they're like fins. You guys can see how soft these guys are, and they are kind of noticeable when you're striking the ball, just because, like I said, the upper isn't as thick compared to the previous model. And so like the difference between the grip here is that the way they're implemented. So with the grip knit, it's all over the boot. You kind of get grip here on the outside, the inside, basically anywhere you kind of are touching the ball with the front part of your foot, you're gonna have grip. So on the Adidas Predator, you only get grip here on like the striking part of the foot, like nothing here on the outside. It's all like basically smooth. So it kind of depends on the type of feel that you want. If you want grip all over your boot and all the time, go with the GX2. If you just want some like grip, but obviously it still provides like a lot of grip when touching this area of the foot and not so much when you're dribbling, then the Predator might be a better option. Now in terms of the fit, the GX2 does have a bit more of a wider midfoot and does have kind of a narrow toe box, but because there is a little bit more volume this time around, they just feel a little bit comfortable even though it is kind of narrow in the toe box. So in the midfoot, you do get, obviously it's wider and have more volume. So people that do have a bit of a wider foot are able to fit in these pretty comfortably, in my opinion. Like I do have a bit of a wider foot, and these fit me perfectly. I don't have any issues, no pinching, no nothing. These feel really nice on feet. Now with the Predator 24 Elite, they're not super wide. They do still have some width to them, The toe box is pretty narrow and it is a bit more lower volume compared to the GX2 in my opinion. This one just has more of a lower volume. So for me, the toe box is kind of snug, which I don't really mind, like just because like it's pretty consistent all around. It is pretty snug here in the midfoot. This kind of actually reminds me, now that I'm thinking of it, to the shape of the original GX1. This kind of has more of a snug and closer to the foot type of feel compared to the GX2. So I guess if you guys like the fit of the GX1, then you might actually like the fit of the new Adidas Predator 24. The GX2, it's not overly wide. It's not like, sloppy fit at all. And I'm not saying that. It just has a little bit more volume compared to the GX1 and compared to the Adidas Predator 24 Elite. Now for me, I just find this boot a little bit more comfortable just because of that extra volume and a little bit extra width in the midfoot. But these, I don't know, I just also like the way these fit just because they're hugging your foot really nicely. They're not squeezing your foot, they're not like a vapor. You still get that standard tongue construction, so it does still provide a good amount of width, even if you do have a bit of a wider foot. Like I do have myself, like I said, a wider foot, and I'm able to fit in these with no problem. They don't hurt at all whatsoever. The upper is nice and soft, and when you do start wearing them, it doesn't stretch, but it takes the shape of your foot a little bit. So there is some give to the upper, but if you guys do have a bit of a wider foot, you shouldn't have a problem fitting into these in my opinion. They're just going to feel a little bit more snug, but you could change that obviously with the lacing system. So if you guys prefer something that has a more like closer to the foot feel, then you're gonna like the Adidas Predator. If you guys like something, I guess that's a bit more relaxed and not so like snug, then the GX2 is probably the one that you should take a look at. The heel, the GX2 does have way more padding than the Adidas Predator, and to some extent it does feel a little bit more like locked in just because there is more padding and there isn't really any movement to it whatsoever. On the Adidas Predator, I didn't find any issues with it. There isn't as much padding compared to the GX2, but I feel like it's enough padding. Like I didn't find any issues with this heel. Like my heel didn't slip side to side at all. The heel kind of did a good job of just holding your heel and having it feel stable. Now in terms of the sole plate, so here I have the AG version of the GX2, which I prefer the sole plate from the GX1. The FG sole plate used on the new GX2 is the Cyclone 360 sole plate, which I have said in previous videos that I'm not a big fan of. It's just a little bit more stiffer, and the stud pattern is a little bit too aggressive for me just because I do play on AG, so I just prefer having this one just because it is an AG sole plate and it does carry over from the GX1. So this sole plate, if you guys do go for the AG sole plate, it is very flexible, feels nice and like free underfoot. It's just very natural feeling. I really like the sole plate. The stud pattern here is all conical, so they're perfect for AG obviously because it is meant for AG. With the Adidas Predator, we do get a one-piece sole plate, and this sole plate compared to the GX2 does have a little bit more responsiveness in the toe right here. It is a little bit stiffer, but it still has some like flexibility. So it's not like a Adidas X where it's very stiff, but it still has some responsiveness to it. So this one has more of a natural feeling, not super responsive. This one has more of a responsive feel, but still nice and flexible. This one's kind of the best of both worlds in my opinion. In terms of the stud pattern here, you do get these triangle studs, which we have seen from Adidas before in the past. And they work well on AG as well as firm ground. Like I didn't have any issues with these wearing them on AG. In terms of sizing, I went true to size in both of these and they fit perfectly. So I would just recommend going true to size. Now in terms of performance, both these boots perform pretty well. I found like because this has more of a snug fit, when you're cutting across, it does really well and holds you in your foot. The GX2, I did have a little bit of movement, like the upper kind of did stretch on me, I guess, and it did like move a little bit. It's nothing crazy. It's just something when I was testing, when I cut really hard and changed directions, I did feel a little bit of movement here on the outside, but it's nothing crazy like I said. But it still performs pretty well. On the Adidas Predator, I think because the fit is a little bit more snug and there isn't so much space, it just feels like there isn't any movement. In the GX2, just because there is a little bit more volume, that may be the cause of having a little bit of movement inside the boot. But I wore grip sock with both of these, and that just kind of minimized the movement. On the GX2, the stability isn't bad. I just wanted to say that I did find a little bit of movement, but it's nothing crazy. So the question that a lot of people have asked me in the comments is which one provides more grip, which one do you think you can manipulate the ball more, control the ball better. And obviously that will come down to skills. These boots are not going to make your control like way better. It's not going to allow you to like control the ball in one touch. That's obviously skill. These will just give that extra little bit of help, I guess. Like especially when you're trying to like curl the ball, you do see a little bit more spin, and it does like make it easier to spin the ball. But like I said, that still requires technique. So this isn't gonna make you like shoot the ball any better or like curl the ball any better. It still requires technique. But I found that if you're striking and curling the ball or just using the instep here of the boot, this one just provides more grip. The GX2 kind of, you have a consistent amount of grip all throughout, and so if you always want grip when you're dribbling and stuff like that, then you should go for the GX. If you don't like that grippy sensation when dribbling, then go with the Adidas Predator, just because if you dribble with the outside, you're not gonna feel it. But if you guys don't want grip all the time, go with the Adidas Predator. If you guys want grip all the time, then go with the Phantom GX2. Alright, so the boot that I would pick, I would go for the Adidas Predator 24. I just prefer the fit of this boot just because it has more of a snug fit, and I kind of like that it's hugging my foot a little bit closer compared to the GX2. And I just really like the sensation that you get when striking the ball with the rubber elements here. It just feels very unique, and you just kind of, I don't know, it just feels really nice. So that's it for this comparison video. We did talk about the upper, the sole plate, the fit, the feel, and which one I would pick. Let me know in the comments which one you would pick, the Phantom GX or the Adidas Predator 24. If you guys have any questions on these two boots, or if I did miss anything, just let me know in the comments. I'll do my best to answer them. If you guys did enjoy this video, make sure to leave a like and also subscribe and hit the bell notification so you're notified for future comparison videos. Thank you guys for watching, and I'll catch you guys in the next one.